The Berenstain Bears and the Trouble with Commercials. TV commercials are entertaining indeed, but they can also make you buy stuff you don't need. Every day after school, Brother Bear and Sister Bear took a TV break before they started their homework. They got some milk and cookies, settled down in front of the TV, and watched their favorite shows. Sometimes it was the Bear Stooges or Doofus Duck. Sometimes it was Rabid, Rabbits, or Wacky Warthog. But whatever it was, there was one thing that the Cubs always looked forward to: the commercials. Some of the commercials were better than the shows. They had better music, better jokes, better singing and dancing. They were fun. And because they were so much fun, brother and sister always wound up wanting what the commercials were selling. It didn't matter what it was. Cereal or candy or toys or a trip to Grizzlyland, that's what they had to have. Now, brother and sister, sighed Mama Bear after the Cubs had asked for one more super delicious honey-sweetened breakfast treat, you haven't even finished that big box of cereal you asked for a few days ago. But this cereal is extra super special, insisted the Cubs. Happy Hamster, the super cereal spokesrodent, said so. I don't care if Doofus Duck himself says so, said Mama. I'm not buying you one more thing you saw on a commercial. But a few days later, brother and sister were eating their extra super special cereal. They had pleaded and pestered Mama so much that she couldn't stand it. She had given in and bought it. The old box of cereal that the Cubs hadn't even finished went into the trash. Mama grew so fed up with the Cubs asking for the things that they saw in commercials that she decided it was time to pull the plug on the TV. The problem was that she and Papa had favorite shows too. They would miss them. Mama usually watched Miss Clara's Garden Show every morning, and Papa watched Fishing with Uncle Finn in the evening. Not only that, the Cubs watched TV at their friends' houses and came home begging for things they saw in the commercials there too. Mama was at her wit's end. Brother and sister just don't seem to understand, she complained to Papa one day when she was watering her houseplants. They don't understand that you can't buy everything you see in a commercial. Why, if you did that, you'd wind up with a house full of expensive things you don't really need. Papa noticed that Mama was using the special limited edition Miss Clara watering can she had bought after seeing a commercial for it on Miss Clara's Garden Show. I see what you mean, he said thoughtfully. Maybe I should talk to them about that. So Papa talked to brother and sister. He explained that TV commercials were just there to sell things. He explained that commercials sometimes exaggerated a little. You can't buy something every time somebody tells you to, he said. You've got to be smart shoppers. You've got to pick and choose, or you'll wind up with a lot of things you don't really need. You two understand that, don't you? Oh, yes, Papa, said brother and sister. We understand. But they didn't. They went right back to asking for every Barbie doll, Space Grizzly action figure, and a big bag of honey gummy wummy bears they saw on TV. We need a plan, Papa said to Mama. They put their heads together and thought and came up with a plan. The cereal, toy, and candy companies always saved their best commercials for Saturday morning. So the next Saturday morning, when the Cubs came begging for things they saw on TV, Mama put the plan to work. This time, the great new cereal that they just had to have was Rainbow Swirl Bits. The toys were Banana Invaders from outer space and Lovey-Dovey dolls and the candy was a super duper sour sucker. Mama sat the cubs down on the sofa away from the TV and said, "Now listen carefully." "We're listening," said the cubs. "We've tried to explain to you that you can't possibly have everything you see on TV." "Yes, Mama," said the cubs. "So here's what we're going to do," said Mama. "We're going to buy all these things you're so excited about. The cereal, the toys, the candy." "Yippee!" cried the cubs. "But, and it's a big but," said Mama, "you have to promise not to ever mention another commercial until you've eaten every single rainbow swirl bit, every single super sour sucker, and played with the banana invaders from outer space and lovey-dovey dolls for a whole month. Do you promise?" "We promise! We promise!" cried the cubs. As it turned out, the cubs didn't like the rainbow swirl bits very much. "Yuck," said Brother. "They turn the milk purple." "And then they turn to purple mush," said Sister. "But a promise is a promise." The banana invaders from outer space weren't much fun either. They were just plastic bananas with rocket guns, and there wasn't much you could do with them. And the lovey-dovey dolls had hair that you were supposed to comb, but it all came out. And the super-duper sour suckers were so sour that the cubs' mouths were puckered up so badly that they could hardly speak, but a promise was a promise. Mama and Papa's plan worked. The cubs not only kept their promise, they learned not to get excited about the things they saw in commercials. But as it happened, not everybody learned the lesson. One evening, Papa was watching his favorite show, Fishing with Uncle Finn, when a commercial came on. It was for Uncle Finn's guaranteed magic light fishing lure. "Do you see that?" cried Papa. "It lights up and is guaranteed to catch fish." "But Papa," said Brother, "how do you know it will do all those things?" "Well, gee," said Papa, "do you think Uncle Finn would lie?" "No," said Sister, "but he might just exaggerate a little." Said Papa. He liked Uncle Finn a lot and watched the rest of the show, but he had second thoughts about buying Uncle Finn's guaranteed magic light fishing lure. The end.